So these are the directed counters on MathsBot, and they're a bit like a sophisticated version of the two colour counters. You'll see the key difference is that the counters can have different values. So you can see as I'm dragging in counters, I'm building up this sum here at the top, and as I bring in a negative counter, you'll see we start adding negative values as well. You'll notice as well that the sum that's appearing is in the same order as which the counters are on the screen, left to right as well. So if I drop a 4 over here, you'll see the 4 appears here, and as I move it across the counters, you can see that 4 kind of moving up and down the sum. So it's in the same order as the counters on the screen, and that's kind of useful because if you have a large number of positive and negative numbers to sum, one valid mental strategy maybe would be to add up all the positive numbers first in one pile, so put all the positives to the left and then all the negative numbers to the right. That's one valid way of summing them all. Another valid way obviously is making 0 pairs as well, so you might want to get the positive 2 and the negative 2, and that makes a 0 pair, and maybe the 5 and the negative 5 to make a 0 pair, and so on. You'll notice this number line at the bottom is the total. So if you don't want the answer to be displayed, you can turn the number line on and off. And you'll see as I add more counters, that little black dot is jumping up and down the line. So you can turn that off if you don't want the total to be visible. Likewise, the sum as well. You can actually toggle the sum on and off as well. We've got some kind of self-explanatory buttons here. So the halve button halves a counter. So if you want a decimal, you can take this 3 here, halve it, we get 1.5 and 1.5. So it splits them into 2. You can flip the current counter, so the last counter that you touched, if you flip it, it'll toggle from positive 4 to negative 4. If you press the random button, watch what happens. Basically, all the counters on the plane area will flip randomly. Or if you want to flip all the counters at once, you can just press the all button, and all of them go from either positive to negative or vice versa. So that's the main buttons there. You obviously got the copy buttons as usual, like all the manipulatives, or you could just use the arrow buttons to copy them as well. These are just some styling options here. So if you don't like the sort of graduated effect grading, you can press solid colours. And there's an alternative to red and yellow if you prefer blue and red as well. You can have those. So there's various combinations of colours you might want. The counters are slightly scaled in terms of size, you'll notice. So if I grab a larger counter, if I keep adding to them, you can see this counter is growing in size. It's not a proportional size because the counters get far too large, but just to give that idea that you've got large positive and large negative numbers, which might be useful. You can turn that scaling off though, just by pressing this checkbox here, and then all the counters appear the same size. If you don't want the negative to appear here, so here we've got like plus negative 3, if you press the subtractions button, you can see instead of plus negative 3, that changes to just like minus 3 there. And various options for styling your negatives. Some people prefer brackets, so you can put brackets around your negative numbers if you want. And if you don't like the superscripts, you can turn those off and on as well. So we've got a whole load of different options for styling your negatives, whether you like superscripts or not, brackets and so on. Yeah, so they're the directed counters. Really versatile resource, so hopefully you find them useful.